Hello there, TNA fam. How's it going? For today, back at the Impact Zone podcast again to talk more TNA wrestling shenanigans. And we know the new deal is here. Already sort of talked about it a little bit. But I was thinking we should go back and do something that we did. I can't even remember when we did it. It was a while ago. A look at the indie wrestlers that TNA could sign to help bolster up their roster, and not just their roster as far as like having bodies on the roster, but as far as having people who could be on there, not just to have good matches or whatever, but people who are on there that can tell stories, because that's and be good characters. Now, I might also consider some people that are or have been inactive in certain promotions, AEW and WWE or whatever, um, as well. But for right now, I might just go through the names. Now, a lot of these first few names I don't really know. So, like, to me, if I don't know who the frick you are, then I'm just going to skip over you for the most part, unless you absolutely really stand out and, like, in your profile picture or in some sort of description or whatever. Because otherwise, it's like, if I don't know who you are, 99% of the more casual audience that we're trying to bring in won't know who you are, and like I was saying, so that is who we're like going for. We're trying to bring people back in. Abaddon, I didn't even know that they were not signed with AEW anymore, but apparently they're. I don't know whether they aren't, because Ace Austin's on this list, so maybe they are still signed um with them. Aerostar used to be in TNA, so I don't know whether. I don't think he's signed anywhere. I don't know, but this is funny. Alpha Junior, isn't that Manu? Like, pretty sure it is. When I don't know what level like he's at right now, but he wasn't at the best level when he was in WWE, but obviously now he could be at a better level. Aiden Prince, we did have him in the company at one point, so I do think that he could be coming potential to come back. Alan Angels, Alex Hammerstone. So I am going through alphabetical. I don't know whether I said that, but that's kind of the easiest way to go through here. We had both of them in TNA for a while, so I don't really know what happened with Hammerstone. I think he had a lot of potential. He has a lot more potential in my mind than what Jake something has, or he showed a lot more. So I think he would be a better fit than him, but that's just me. I think Alan Angels would be a great, at least temporary, signing in the X division, or in the tag division, because he's a great heel. So I think that wouldn't go astray. Ashlyn Kay, obviously, like more. I think to me, she's more of a tag team person, but whatever. She could still be a singles person. There are a couple people that are on here that I go, yeah, we had you, like Alpha Bravo. I don't know whether he actually does stuff backstage. I don't think we've seen him on screen very much, so, but whatever. Andrew Everett, actually, he came back a little while back, and faced Moose in that X Division match. I said before maybe he should stick around, so that's another name. We can't literally hire everyone, but again, it's worthwhile looking at some of these. Angelina Love, I don't know whether she really wrestles all that much, but like one last run in TNA wouldn't say no. I think I know of Anthony Green, but I haven't seen a whole lot of what he can do. But yeah, I don't know. That could be somebody. Aaron Rex, he was in TNA a long time ago. It didn't really work out. I think like another shot at the pie would be good, especially since a lot of people still really like him and that they could do something big with him if they gave him the right gimmick. Oh, well, I think he's got his gimmick sort of down, but if they gave him the right stories and they gave him the right direction and things like that. Austin Aries is here, but I don't know really whether I want to talk too much about him after, all the shenanigans and all the hiccups that he's had in the company and whatnot. Maybe they'll be forgiving, but I don't know. So, Big Con, he was in TNA for a while, but that never really seemed to work out. I'm not really going to look at too many older guys like maybe Big Vito or whoever, unless they're like, not like Hulk Hogan level, but like on the level of like a a major star, like, what's his name? The former, what's his name? Bishop Dyer. What was his name in WWE now? Oh my God. He lost to Jinder Mahal when he cashed in his Money in the Bank, and John Cena cost him the shot because he called out the concussion protocol. Oh my God. Baron Corbin. Jeez, my brain. But yeah, he would be a significant add to the roster. So, yeah. Brian Kendrick. I don't know. He's had a lot of issues in the past as well. So, I don't know. But he still is a really great performer. And I still feel like he could add something to the roster. So, we've seen C.W. Anderson, I think, actually. But he's like a lot older now, I think. Carlito, what the heck? I didn't even know that he's on the indies. I knew he was like mainly in WWE. Charlie Haas. What the heck happened to Charlie Haas being in TNA? Like, you gonna bring this man back at any point? I don't know. Not that he's that major, but could still do something. Chris Adonis. Let's see. Who else is here? Crazy Steve. Bring back Crazy Steve. But yeah. Dan Severn still on the indies? What the heck? That's crazy, dude. What the heck? I don't think I want to bring back Gallows and Anderson, so yeah. We talked about Dijak before, but I don't know. He's come and had a few issues here and there, so I don't know, but he's still a big name, so EC3 and the Colognes, oh man, the Colognes were in TNA for a hot minute there. Like, bring them back in. Like, what the heck happened? Seriously, bring them back in. EC3 would be great, but obviously, like, I think he's dedicated to working in the NWA right now, but, you got Enya Black. So, you bring her back in. I don't know. I think she's kind of semi-retired for now, at least. El Macias, he appeared in TNA like a few months back, but that never really translated to anything. I think Vikingo's more working in WWE now. So I'm noticing that there's so few big female stars here to really talk about. Who was Flash Morgan Webster's tag partner? Webster and what was his name? I can't remember, dude. But him and his tag team in what was it called? Subculture. They were good. Why don't you try to bring them back? I don't know. Who else? Grado. I don't know. Havoc. Bring her back. Heath could bring him back. I don't know. Unless they're already signed to TNA. Jack Price, he's been in and out of TNA for a while. Jay Vidal and Jake Chris, they were in TNA. I don't know how. I don't know what happened with Jay Vidal, and I think Jake Chris has kind of been in and out a lot. So I don't know what's happened there. James Storm, the legend. James Drake's on here? Well, who was James Drake's partner? I can't remember his partner's name. I thought they're mainly in AEW. I don't know. But yeah, James Storm, bring him back. One last run. Gotta retire. Jimmy Jacobs. What the heck, bro? Thought he's in AEW too. Oh no. Johnny TV. I think he's literally in AEW. Gresham was in TNA. Like I said this before, I really loved that Masked Octopus gimmick that he was doing, and it never really got off the ground. But I think he got sick and whatnot, and hopefully he's doing better. I think he did recently return, but it is what it is. Let's see. Kevin Knight's still on the Indies? I thought he was with AEW. Killer Cross, yes. If they could get him back in, absolutely. I don't know whether they could, but if they could, they should. Congo Kong was doing all right there, I think. I think they could have kept him going and kept doing things with him. And they put a lot of effort into him before. And so I still feel like you could do stuff with him. He's a big man and he can do things. So, yeah, I still think you could bring him in. Let's see. You got Lady Frost. She was in TNA a while back. I don't know what went on there. I think AEW said, oh shit, we can see you're actually doing stuff with this person. Let's hire you back, or whatever. Or let's actually hire you. Leo Rush, I thought he was really in AEW. I don't know. Maybe some of these people are in AEW as well. Madman Fulton. Bring him back in. He could do some stuff. Mark Andrews, that was, what's his name's tag team partner? Marty Bell, she's mostly a tag team person as well. I don't think we're going to touch Matt Riddle. I think we're going to stay away from that. Max the Impaler, I would like to see this. I don't know whether they're really with AEW, but maybe, I don't know. Melina, I was feeling like she was like either with WWE or whatever. Mercedes Martinez, this is interesting. I think, again, she's been with AEW a fair bit or whatever, but I don't know. There's a very controversial person here. I don't know whether to say Michael Elgin, but they put a lot of time and effort into him and whatnot, so. Mr. Anderson, they already brought him back for a little while, so that was kind of cool. I'd like to see more, but let's see. Nunzio and who was his new FBI team? Bring them back in. I don't know what was going on there. Why did you go through all that stuff of saying these are these new guys? Oh no, they're only going to appear like twice. What the heck? Priscilla Kelly. There's one big female name that they could bring in. They already brought what's his name, Enzo Amore in for that one show in New York. I don't know whether you're gonna keep bringing him in, maybe, but he would be a good addition, at least, like in some regards. Despite any controversy, Rohit Raju, bring Rohit back. Could do something there. Sam Bill, what the heck happened with Sam Bill? He was there and he was doing some stuff. Don't know what happened there. Savannah Evans, like what happened there? She had a lot, going on there, and like then, oh well, see you later, bye. I don't know. Shane Douglas is on the Indies. He's still working. What the heck? He has got a big history in TNA. But, I don't know. Sheldon Jean, he was in TNA for a hot minute. Shotzi Blackheart, I thought she's in AEW now. Maybe, I don't know. Simon Gotch, he had a brief stint in TNA. Bring him in and do some more stuff. Sonny Kiss, I don't know what you're going to do with them, but like they were in TNA for a hot minute and then, went away. Su Yung, why isn't Su Yung back in TNA? Like, I know she had a baby and all this other stuff and whatnot, but she hasn't been back in forever. Like, you could do stuff with her, or you could still do stuff with her, in other gimmicks. She showed that she could do other gimmicks other than just the Su Yung thing. So, yeah, I don't know. Taurus? I thought Taurus, or what's his name now? God, what is his name now? Something like Black. Oh, I can't remember. No, I can't remember. But yeah, he was big deal for a while. We've got one of the Samoans here, but I don't know. I think there's a few of the Samoans out there. Toalonia? I don't know how to pronounce that, but yeah, maybe. Because the Samoans are always popular. We've seen that. Trent Seven, what the heck happened there? I don't know. Trevor Lee? Bring back Trevor Lee, maybe. Vincent, what the heck? He was there for a while. We could do some stuff with him. VSK, he was in TNA for a little while. Could try to bring him back. I don't know. Zach Gibson, that was it. That was the other person that that was there? Jeez, my brain. Ziki Dice, what the heck? Hey, Zilla Fatu, there we go. He was there for like a hot minute. You could bring him in more permanently. Alright, we've come to the end here of like a lot of the guys that are, there's a lot of former TNA people or people that have come in and out, or at least that I remember came in and out. So those could be at least like extra, like some of them could be extra jobbers that appear. Like at least you could have that. I don't know. Actually, I missed one here. Samurai del Sol. That's a good name to remember. No Way is also there. No Way Jose. So, and QT Marshall. I thought he was in AEW. There's obviously a very controversial name there, so Patrick Clark. I'm not going to really go into that. So I'm just scrolling back through some of the names. Mr. Iguana's certainly more in WWE now. So, Max Caster. I think that was the what's name's other partner. Let's see. Low-Ki. I think I said Low-Ki before, but he's had a lot of ups and downs in wrestling. So, I don't know. There's a lot of people here that are obviously... Oh, Kip Sabian. I didn't see Kip Sabian, but whatever. Who was his partner? He was mostly a tag team person. But yeah, like I said, you can't hire... Oh, Katie Forbes. Katie was in TNA, although she wasn't much of a wrestler. Though she doesn't need to be. But anyway, yeah, you can't hire everyone. But you need to hire enough people for you to be able to be like, okay, who are we going to focus in on? And what are they going to do? So everyone else is kind of there to help elevate those other people or help fill out the roster and help, be hands in the divisions that, you have. So, all right, maybe we have to look at recent releases. Let's see if there's anyone on here. What is going on? What is happening? Maybe. Let's see. Jesus. I don't know what went on there. Maybe? I don't know. What's their name from not the about to say the Beatdown Clan. What was it? They Authors of Pain. Yeah, maybe. Oh, Cedric's on here. Is Sonya Deville in... Oh no, was she in AEW? I don't know. Braun Strowman. We could go back to Braun for Glory. I don't know. Gigi. I already said Gigi, basically. Kaden Carter. I didn't hit on her. But she wasn't that big. But still, maybe. Joe Coffey. He had a big feud with Joe Hendry. Could do something with him, maybe. I don't know. Don't know what his name is now. Wolfgang. I think he had a big feud with him, with Henry. Valhalla? You could bring her in and do stuff with her, maybe. Ashante the Adonis, he was actually appearing in TNA quite a bit. So you could bring him in and do stuff with him. Don't know whether Andrade would work because, like, they've got that court case going on and whatnot. So Jasmine next. I don't know whether she'd be that great of a fit, but maybe. Especially on her own, she was more of a tag team person, but whatever. You could try to revamp her into a singles person, obviously. Oh, yeah, Kylie got pregnant, I think. Wesley, you've already got that. Okay. So, there's not many names there that I am too overly excited about. Let's go back like a year. Let's see if I can find anyone here that Jinder, Veer. Yeah. Ricochet's already been scooped up. Beth's already scooped up. Shelton and MVP. Yeah. Nunzio, a couple other people. But yeah, that's pretty much all the people that I've already gone through. There's a few people here that are people, but yeah. I don't really feel like also going back another year because, again, that's, more people that we've already kind of gone through. Who's kind of like, I want to say people that are kind of like on the teetering point in WWE or AEW. I know a few more that are in AEW, I think, than I know in WWE, but I actually am going to read somewhat from another article. If I can. I read from it before. Whatever. What's this doing? Okay. Alright. So I'm going to scoot through this if we can. Let's see. No, let's see that. Because there's one major name. Actually, there might be two major names that I feel like are on this list that I kind of want to talk about. Alright, here's one. Private Party. They're in AEW. They haven't done a whole lot for a while, I don't think. I don't know whether if you brought them in from AEW to TNA, though, that they'd feel too much like that AEW prospect. But you could lean into that, I guess. I don't know. But the big rivalry right now is with WWE and NXT. Though you could line into that, prospect that they're trying to get to number 2 type thing, or whatever. Alright, there's one name that I want to talk about in a second, I guess. Another name. Okay, alright. So there's 3 names, 3 big names that I think are interesting. Danhausen, Thunder Rosa, and maybe Chris Jericho. And, obviously AJ Styles, we would love to have AJ in TNA, even for a short period of time, but I don't see it happening. I don't really see Jericho happening, to be honest, to be fair. I could see potential for Danhausen. But I don't really see that much potential for Jericho to come in. I like this list of some people is talking about mostly AEW people, I think, but there are a couple of WWE people on there, I guess, but whatever. Jericho is obviously a major name, and it'd be a big coup. And like he did say, "Hey, I almost signed with them," or whatever it was, a couple of times. So it's not completely impossible, but I feel like it'd be interesting in some ways because it's like he's been just about everywhere except for TNA, and that's interesting. Before he retires, I feel like he should come and at least do something. I don't know what, but that would be kind of cool to say, hey, I've been in basically every major promotion since, the 90s. I've been in WCW, I've been in New Japan, I've been in WWE, I've been in, AEW, I've been in TNA, I've been everywhere. I've been to all the major promotions. So, in the last 30 years, which is crazy to say because he's been wrestling for over 30 years. And it is time for him to look at hanging up. But I would say with Danhausen, I think you could think that WWE might have their eyes on him, but I don't know whether they see Danhausen, how they could do Danhausen. I don't know. Maybe they could do Danhausen. Maybe they could, but I would feel like, I don't know. It does feel the same with TNA. It's hard to work somebody that has a gimmick like that in some ways, but he was so popular and he sold so many shirts and people really like him. So, I think it's a big missed opportunity to not think if you can get him and add him to your roster and build him up and do something big with him that you wouldn't try to do it. My thought would be if he's coming in, is he going to feel like an AEW prospect that's coming to TNA? I think Santana, when he came back from AEW, it was like everyone didn't really remember his AEW run that much because it was very forgettable for the most part. And now you're not focusing in on him as a tag team guy. Now you're trying to focus in on him as being a singles guy. So changing divisions really helped that transition. And it had been a few years and he'd gotten, a lot more muscle on and whatnot. So he'd changed his style as well. So he had a bit of a different look than what he had. So people kind of were like, oh, shit, he's looking like somebody of of that caliber. I don't know whether Danhausen would do that, but because he's got his own gimmick, he's got his own direction. I don't know whether, I don't think AEW owns the rights to it or anything. I think, obviously, Danhausen owns the rights to it. But still, I think Danhausen could be a good ad. You could do very similar things to the Hometown Man with him. The Hometown Man has this gimmick. And a lot of people have had gimmicks. Rosemary's there. She's been there for a long time. You've had Crazy Steve. You've had, Broken Matt Hardy. You've had these, really crazy gimmicks. Especially the last, few years. I'm not going to talk about, like, 10, 20 years ago or whatever. Obviously they had crazy gimmicks back then too, but you've got to look at the current, like, and that's why I say, like, Abaddon and Max the Impaler would be great ads in some ways, because they're these crazy gimmicks or whatever, but you could still, like, see them working, because they're not so much the gimmick, they're just a big imposing threat that actually was Max face Jordan Grace? I think that happened like a while back, didn't it? At some point. So yeah, actually kind of forgot about that for a little bit. I just remembered it, I think. So that was an interesting time. They should pull that back and do something else with her. Actually make her them a big monster or whatever. But yeah, there's obviously other names out there, but yeah, it's tough. And I think, like, you've also got to try to find the diamonds in the rough, so to speak. You've got to find the people that are out there that, people kind of forget about, or they have potential, like Leon. Leon, people didn't really know him very much. And same with New Japan, like bringing in some guys from New Japan, So, yeah, it could be a big playing field shift if they bring in some people, or even for a short period of time, to do stuff. So, but those are some people that are out there that I feel like they could think about, at least even if you're saying some of the more low-key people that are just like, okay, we're bringing you in on the dark matches or whatever else it is, just to, put somebody else over and whatnot. That could be, like, helpful. You're in and you're out type thing. Or if somebody's in the area or what have you, you could still bring them in and still do something with them. But the level of excitement needs to be, like, not just in the main event scene. You need, a bunch of guys in the tag team scene. You've already got a fair few, but, like, you still need more. You still need more, like, upper card guys, like mid card and upper card guys. You need more X Division guys. You need more women. So yeah, there's a lot of space to kind of fill in that roster, and to kind of help bolster it out and make it good and make it interesting and whatnot. So, but yeah, those are my thoughts for now. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one, and I hope you guys will join me again in another one.